So now that we've covered the 10 essential hand tools that every homeowner should have, let's talk about the 10 essential power tools that every homeowner should have.
Power tools are going to save you time. They do all the heavy lifting, and they make you look like you know what you're doing. Further, a good set of power tools is going to open up new project possibilities, and they're going to save you money in the long run. But most importantly, they're just fun to use. In this episode of The Common Sense Dad, I'm going to break down the 10 most important power tools that I believe every homeowner should own. Some of these may end up being a surprise, but you know what? If you want to get things done around the house, these are the 10 most important ones you've got to have. So let's break down each tool in detail, why they're on this list, what they're used for, and how they can make your life so much easier.
Starting us off at number one, a cordless drill. This is my baby. If you're gonna have one power tool, this is the one you want. You want a cordless drill. My drill in particular, it's a 20 amp DeWalt, but it not only is a drill driver, it's also a hammer drill. But this thing does hammer drilling, regular drilling, screwing. It's got 15 different torque screw sets, as well as 2 different variable speeds.
The cordless drill can help you drill pilot holes, drive screws faster and cleaner than your hand tools. You can use it to mix paint, thin set mortar, and even drywall mud. You can use it to install shelves and build furniture, fix fences, just about any project around the house. This is why it's tool number one.
Battery pack, it's got a light, magnetic, the whole 9 yards. Magnetic tip, it's got a keyless chuck, and it's brushless. And the best part about owning a cordless drill, no man can resist. Tool number 2 in our arsenal, the portable circular saw. Now, you can get this in cordless as well. The problem is, it sucks your battery like that. So I do not recommend it. Always get one that has a cord. All right, so the parts of the circular saw. It's the most powerful, one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal. All right, you have your blade guard. This piece here is your adjustment on depth. All right, so you lift that up and you can move this piece here that determines the depth that you want to do it. You also have a way to bevel your edges right here where you can turn the plate, the base plate, based upon how you want to go in and attack by doing that, okay?
Circular saws are great for ripping long sheets of plywood or OSB. It's also handy for making really quick cuts when you're working with framing lumber.
Look, this is a tool that you respect. It's powerful, okay? Always use 2 hands. Keep one hand here, one hand on the trigger. Don't put the saw down until the blade stops. And here's a pro tip. When you're cutting finished plywood, always cut the finished plywood edge upside down. One more thing we need to talk about. You can use your circular saw not just for wood, but also for cement fiber siding. All you have to do is get the cement fiber siding blade. It's a 7 1/4 blade. And you can use that to cut that stuff as well. But the actual best feature of the circular saw is it's great at scaring the crap out of my mother-in-law. Our third power tool is the multi-tool, the Oscillating Multi-Tool. So on this one, I have a cordless one that ties in with my DeWalt cordless 20-volt battery pack. I use this blade in particular for cutting out holes in drywall if I need to put in a remodel box, or even when I'm hanging new drywall, I'll use this to cut out new junction boxes for switches or plugs. But I also use it for cutting the door jambs if I have to raise a floor or anything like that, but it's also useful for just about anything you can think of. Now this blade also comes off and I can attach the sanding tool on here. So for corner sanding, and it's super lightweight, it's very well balanced. See? I highly recommend you get yourself an oscillating tool, a multi-tool. Tool number 4, a good orbital sander, okay? Easy to control, right here on the head. It spins, but it spins so rapidly, it's just like going back and forth. Great for sanding wood. Easy change on the sandpaper, where you just lift this up and you pull it out. Same thing with the clutch on the side. You just lift this piece up to undo the backside. You can use it for drywall if you accidentally used all-purpose joint compound without mixing it for skim coating. Had to do that before. You can also use it for sanding your floor, for fine finishing, for rough cut finishing, and it'll get just about everywhere you need to go. It's not gonna be able to get you in the corners, and that's what you need to use that oscillating tool for, but it's a wonderful tool to have, and it's got its own little dust collection bag, which is almost 100% worthless, but it's a nice feature. Good tool to have in your arsenal. Tool number 4. Tool number 5, one of my favorite tools of all time, the Sawzall. The Sawzall, it looks and it feels like an M16, except the trigger's a little bit too far back, but that's neither here nor there. So it actually feels like a gun while you're doing it. And what it'll do is it'll move a blade back and forth, okay? You can get multiple different types of blades for the Sawzall, metal, wood. Also, if you remember my DIY or pro video, they also make pruning blades, like 20-inch pruning blades, and I'll take my Sawzall and prune my trees with it. Its primary use is for demolition purposes. I can cut out an entire wall in seconds. Okay, like 30 seconds, but still, it's seconds. It's not really a finishing tool. It's not a tool that you want to dare to use to finish. Very difficult to keep this thing straight, but I have done it a couple of times before in a pinch. It's not something I recommend, but it does get the job done. One of the greatest tools ever. It's the easiest blade replacement ever. You see this latch right here? Just lift it up, pull it out. Keep it up, put a new one in, and bam, locked. The reciprocating saw, or commonly known as the Sawzall, I think men really like the reciprocating saw because it actually reciprocates. You give it plenty of love and attention, and it reciprocates right back. This is why men love their tools. Number 6, meet the impact driver. The louder, more angry, low rider driving cousin of the cordless drill. This will shoot out bursts of torque, and it's meant for driving longer screws, minimum 3-inch to 5-inch when you're doing like deck work, for example, on a 4x4 post, and you're driving bolts, lag bolts, or you're driving those 5 or 6-inch screws in order to attach. You'll hear it go, it sounds angry, but it's actually very, very sensitive and very precious. And I added this to my 20-volt DeWalt setup as well. Same thing, can't resist. Our 7th tool is a jigsaw. This is a tool you use when you need to cut something with curves in it, okay? So a jigsaw can be used to cut wood, metal, and plastic. Each of these blades needs to be changed. So right now I have a wood blade on there. And obviously you can use it for wood. It's an easy, quick change, but you can also use metal blades. It's hard to find one that's cordless. I would not recommend you get one that's cordless. You definitely want a corded one because this requires some serious power. These blades tend to go out pretty quick depending on how thick the wood is, or the metal, or the plastic that you're cutting. But it is definitely a tool worth having because it allows you to do things that you can't do with a regular circular saw or any other type of cutting tool. Tool number 8, an angle grinder. Now you can also get an angle grinder in cordless. Again, it's one of those tools that pulls too much power that I would not recommend going cordless. You definitely want to go corded. So I use my angle grinder for multiple different things. I do use it to cut rebar every once in a while. I don't do a lot of that, but a lot of times I'll use it in a pinch to quickly cut some tile, like to cut specific corners. It's easy enough to where you can go around, but then you can also change this to where it's not a blade. You can actually put hole saws in an angle grinder. You can use hole saws for stone cutting. And believe it or not, that's what I'm gonna do to cut my drains in my vessel sinks in the master bathroom project downstairs, and then also to cut my faucet holes. Two different size hole saws, but nonetheless, I can do just about anything with my angle grinder. Now, I don't have my guard on, as you can see, and I don't have my handle, and that's because I've been using this most recently for stone work. So I also use it to cut stones outside, specifically landscaping stones, right? So I keep my hose, keep it a little wet, and go right in and cut it. This next tool, tool number 9, miter saw.
The primary purpose of a miter saw is to give you a stable area to cut wood. It could be studs, or it could be trim pieces. I use mine to cut door trim, baseboard trim, crown molding, picture frame molding, you name it. Any type of trim work should be done on a miter saw, because a miter saw allows you to position the exact angle that you need to cut. Even if it's not a true 45 in a corner, you can position it after taking your actual measurements to get the exact angle that you need. My particular miter saw is a compound miter saw, which allows me to make cuts for hips and valleys in a roof, or even corner pieces attaching to a gable.
Now, the radial arm, what that does is it allows the saw to come all the way down and to come forward. So I can easily cut a 2x12 on this. So all of the 2x12 ceiling joists that I did in the master bathroom here, all of those were cut on this miter saw. Finally, number 10, a compressor, and a good compressor. So you've got to have at least a 5 SCFM output compressor. That's so you can use it for framing. So you can use a pneumatic framing nailer. You can use a brad nailer for trim. You can use a pin gun for cabinet trim and cabinet accessories. You can also use it for texture guns, like a hopper gun. I can also have an air extension hose where I can blow dust, clean off my back porch, clean out my garage. And I even have a tire gauge that I can add onto it. I can fill all my kids' bike tires, and I can fill all the car tires. This is one of the best investments for a homeowner, in my opinion. Mine has wheels on it, so I can easily lift mine up and cart it with me anywhere I need to go, put it in the back of a truck, put it in the trunk of my car. But the absolute best feature about the compressor is it's the world's greatest argument ender, because all I have to do is plug it in and just be like,
sorry, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. You try to tell me something? What?
All right, so now that we've dove into the 10 essential hand tools and the 10 essential power tools that every homeowner should have, let's take a look at those awkward tools that you don't use that often, but boy, are they useful when you really need them. That's coming up next, the 10 essential specialty tools that every homeowner should have. Thanks for watching, everybody. Let me know in the comments whether or not you think that my list is a little ridiculous or a little too much, or maybe I missed something completely. Let me know. See you on the next one.